Welcome to the InterSystem CDA Validation Service, a cloud consumption-based feature for healthcare interoperability. Prior to turning on your CCDA data feeds and consuming patient documents, use the CDA Validation Service to validate the quality of incoming documents, as well as reducing potential data loss when persisting data in your HealthShare UCR or IRIS patient databases. The current version of the CDA Validation Service is accessible via the InterSystems Cloud portal, where admin configuration will be required to connect your organization's Amazon Web Services S3 storage environment for documents to be picked up and passed through the service. The CDA Validation Service homepage provides you options to access multiple services that are connected to different S3 buckets or directories to ensure appropriate user access to these reports based on patient health data. In this example, we have two CDA validation services created. The platform has a maximum of 5 services that can be created and enabled at any given point, so an organization can delegate users to specific services or access to run document validation on a specific S3 bucket or directory. The service homepage features access to prior validation batches, where reports are made available for up to 7 days. Purging on an increased cycle is available in the configuration setup. Access previous reports via the drop-down here. When creating a batch, you add a description to that batch validation run for easier identification. Let's create a batch validation by clicking Create Validation Batch here. When running a CDA validation service for your first batch validation, you will need to enter the S3 bucket prefix that your service should point to. This tells the service which directory your documents should be picked up from within your S3 bucket. Note, at this stage, you would have already connected your organization's S3 bucket to this service. You can then select which rule profile you'd like to run for this batch. You have the option for a basic CDA validation document, which validates against the base CDA R2.1 document templates, or the option to also include CCDA schematron rule set, which is based on the CCDA implementation guide R1.1 and includes additional business logic, such as whether a valid SNOMED code was entered or standardized value sets are used for fields such as a procedure body site or lab result observation unit. Before running your validation batch, you can optionally enter a description for this batch for easier identification between batch runs, such as naming the batch after the source of the documents. Note, after running a batch and before the batch validation results, you can view the statuses of your validation batches with these pill status bars labeled by batch ID. Status bars for completed batches will be shown until the application has been refreshed and only show the in progress and queued batches at that point in time. When your batch validation results, you are taken to the batch metrics view with an overview of all the rules applied to those documents. Filter and view on the total number of times a rule was applied and the success rate for each rule. For a higher level understanding of your batch validation run, view the top level metrics for the number of percentages of passed and failed rules across the batch, as well as the quantity of failed rules for each type of document section found across the batch. Select a section from this top bar to filter the batch metrics view for rules only run on that section. For example, the vital signs section with one of the most failed rules shows there are 10 entries that did not pass extraction rules. We will look at those closer now. Let's drill down to the document level and view validation rules per document. The view adjusts to each document in this batch validation shown on the left. The first document validated is auto-selected and results are visible on the error-only view, showing only failed areas of the document. The results are categorized by the sections found in the document and the rules run within the section. They are drilled down by each entry and rule type. These can be filtered above by the type of rules, extraction rules, or whether the system was able to find an available data mapping, schematron rules and XSD rules, and other rules such as higher level entry presence rules that are not related to a specific data element in an entry. Select the document view will show you all the rules passed, failed, and warned. Remember, in the batch metrics view, there were 10 instances of a failed rule in the vital signs section. Let's drill in to view those. Notice the section view is broken into high-level rules, such as whether the entry contains data and whether it can be extracted. In this case, both passed. Then you can view each entry or record. Expanding on entry or record 2, with an 85.7% pass rate, you can see rules were run on the existing entry bodies or additional records. Looking at the first entry body, we see that same rule of failure showing an empty entry. However, the entry view into the XML of the actual document shows data present. This indicates an extraction error at the higher level. Viewing the entire entry body for vital signs observation will list out all the other data element requirements and rules applied. Since all of these rules passed, but the entry text did not, the system is unable to recognize this entry as a whole and must be remapped from within the InterSystems XSLT library for seamless storage and exchange of this document and its content. This tool is accessibility friendly, meeting requirements for visibility constraints as well as keyboard accessibility features. You can tab over and expand each section from just your keyboard. Above the document view are settings to be able to limit the expansion to just one panel at a time for easier viewing. Thank you for watching the CDA Validation Service overview. Please reach out to your InterSystems representative for more information and access to this service. Stay tuned for further enhancements and additional tooling to ensure your data quality.